Hi, this is Micah Utrick, Associate Editor at Jacobin magazine. I'm here at the Chicago Teachers Union Hall where the Chicago Women's Rally is happening right now. And I am joined by, introduce yourself and what you do.
Sure, my name is Marines Martinez. I'm a teacher at Antonia, Pantoja High School. I'm also the president or acting president of our council at Pantoja.
And can you explain a little bit about what the school is that you work at?
Sure. So Antonia Pantoja High School is an alternative school. Our population is from 17 to 21 years old. Our population are mainly students who didn't make it in a regular high school setting, where they need a little bit of extra love and care.
And it's a charter school, right?
It is a charter school, yes.
And you've worked there for how long?
5 years.
And you and your coworkers recently set a strike day. Is that right?
Yes. So just yesterday morning, we announced our strike day for March 17th. We've been negotiating for a new contract since May of the last school year, and bargaining hasn't been moving forward. So our council decided that we were going to start making steps every week. Our first step was addressing the board on February 15th in hopes that they would, bargain with us seriously. They didn't, so then the next step was doing the strike vote. We had 94 people come out for the vote. 93 people voted yes out of 106 members. So 99.8% of our members want to go ahead and set a strike date.
And I think that would make ASPIRA the first charter school in Chicago, and maybe one of the first at least in the nation to go on strike, right?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Nervous for sure, but I definitely feel that we have to do this to make ASPIRA accountable for their actions. We definitely want ASPIRA to know that it's not just the teachers who are watching them, but the world that is watching how they spend our students' funds. And
so before we get into the details with ASPIRA, I mean, you just spoke at this rally here where there's a couple hundred people. You're the second speaker. And this is an International Women's Day rally, and so some people might say, well, okay, this is a Women's Day rally, but what is, why are we talking about, charter school teachers and unions and going on strike? Why is that an issue for the Women's Day? So what's your response to that?
Well, so it's just like I tell my students, it's not just about women, it's not just about minorities, it's not just about this or that. Unions make sure that everyone's being treated equally. As a Hispanic woman, I would be making a lot less than you if we did the same job. It's 70 cents to the dollar. For every dollar that a white male makes, a woman will make 70 cents. It's even less for a Hispanic or black woman, a woman of color. And one of the benefits of being in the union is that you get equal pay for equal work. And one of the things that we're doing at our union is we want our population is predominantly Hispanic, low income. Yeah, my student population is low income. They're Hispanic, and we want to make sure that they're not getting robbed of what is rightfully theirs.
So people talk about issues like the pay gap a lot, and I think people often say, well, there's the pay gap, and isn't that terrible? But then there's no real talk about how to fix that. Maybe you get Congress to pass a law, or maybe you just find a nicer boss who will actually pay you the same as your male coworkers. But you're talking about using the union as a way to accomplish these feminist goals, right? The pay equity for women.
Right, because standing alone, and no one's going to do anything, right? You stand alone. You're not something that I'm going to be afraid of. But when you organize, when you unionize, when you work together, you're stronger as a unit than as an individual. And for sure, being in a union empowers women. Being a union member, I know that I could speak up for my students and not get fired for it. Like I could say, hey, student needs this, or student this, and I won't be afraid. In other schools, in other charter schools that are non-unionized, a teacher is afraid to speak up for her children because they might get fired. If you're a non-union worker, you're an at-will employee, and they don't need a reason to let you go. And as being a union member, I feel empowered to say, hey, this is not right. and I'm not afraid to do that.
And you've worked at other charter schools before that weren't union, right?
Right.
And what was that experience like?
And I definitely saw that as soon as you speak up, you weren't coming back. I saw that firsthand.
With yourself or with other people, or what happened?
Me personally, and I learned that day. I was like, oh wow, I can't even ask a simple question, and I wasn't. So I mean, that's when I went out back on the job market, I made sure to apply to schools who had a union because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't being limited. I wanted to speak up.
Now, most charter schools around the country, even still most charter schools in Chicago, are still non-union, right? Which is one of the main reasons why school districts like the Chicago Public Schools want to pursue more charter schools, so they don't have to deal with these pesky unions, right?
Right, and I think one of the benefits, again, about being a union and standing together is that we can hold these charter schools, like ASPIRA, accountable for how they spend money. So non-unionized charter schools, there's no one there making sure that they're spending or allocating the money with the kids. Right now, one of the biggest issues on our contract is the financial issue because we're wondering where is that money going. It's definitely not going inside the classroom. It's definitely not reaching the students. Our students, we have to do our own fundraisers if we want to go on a field trip. There's a teacher at ASPIRA Early College that is constantly emailing us, GoFundMe for this project or for that project. Like, why does a teacher have to go and ask for a handout from other teachers working at ASPIRA to do a project?
So on top of teaching kids all day, you have to be a kind of fundraiser.
Right, exactly. So, not until I became more active in the union did I start noticing these things. And now that, I'm a leader in the union, I'm pointing out these things and bringing it up to management and saying why we have people who are being paid to be fundraisers. ASPIRA has fundraisers. That's their entire job to do, is just to fundraise, and yet teachers are fundraising for projects. We have people who are paid to go get students or to recruit students to come to our schools, yet they're not doing their jobs. Instead, they're sending our counselors, our advisors, our mentors to knock on doors when we have full-time employees that's their job. So it leaves us to wonder, like, where's the money going then? You're saying you're spending it on this. Where is it?
So what are the issues in the contract fight that are proving to be sticky? What are you disagreeing about, and what are you trying to accomplish with this contract that the ASPIRA management doesn't want to see you accomplish?
Transparency, for sure. Transparency is our biggest problem. When the financial issue came up, ASPIRA asked, they asked us to take a pay freeze, and then for every year to cover a little bit of our own pension and a little bit of our own health care benefits. So essentially they asked us to
an increased amount of your pension.
Right, yeah. Right, sorry. So every year it would be like a pay cut. And that left us to wonder, well, where is the money going then? It's definitely not reaching the classes. The ASPIRA is hurting so much that they're asking the teachers to take a pay cut to continue to work for them. So then we asked, like, okay, where are the finances? And we want to make sure that the transparency is the key issue. Right now, Fernando Grillo, the chairperson of the ASPIRA Board of Directors, is saying, well, the money isn't there because CPS is taking pay cuts or is receiving less funds. That just happened this month, right? And it's like ASPIRA has been deteriorating for the last 5 years. So there are a lot of issues that came up this year, including with CPS or CTU and their potential strike. But these issues existed prior to all of this happening. So for sure, we definitely are seeing that Grillo is mismanaging our leadership, and because there is a rocky leadership, no one is there to hold the employees, like for example maintenance. No one's there to make sure that maintenance is actually being taken care of, because maintenance knows there's no boss.
So what does that look like in the school? Does it mean that the school doesn't get cleaned or maintained?
Oh my God, yes, it's so dirty. So that I think that was the biggest issue. So we do have teachers who are doing their own fundraising, and then we also have teachers who are cleaning their own classroom. The day just yesterday I announced a strike. That morning, one of our teachers at my building, she could not allow her students to sit in this dirty classroom, and she ended up sweeping her own classroom right after first period, because it's like she's like, I can't have them here like this. So we do end up doing our own. We end up cleaning our own classroom a lot. For sure, another issue is the restrooms. I mean, here we are teaching our students, like, this is high school. Wash your hands after you use the restroom. How can they wash their hands if there's no soap or towels to dry your hands? It's hard to use the restroom when there's no toilet paper in the stalls. So where's the money going? Like, you're not even providing the basic needs. The basic day-to-day needs for our students.
Well, it's funny, people say that that education is a kind of feminized labor force. That it's mostly teachers who are working, and mostly women who are working as teachers, and that leads to the work being degraded and not valued as much as other kinds of work in society. But then you're also forced, your charter school, to engage in all other kinds of feminized work, like sweeping the floors and scrubbing the toilets and all that stuff, and you just sort of, sounds like you're getting hit on multiple angles.
Yes, for sure. And I don't want to say I don't want to say that sweeping is just a woman's job, right? It's everyone does it. So even our male teachers also pick up a broom and also clean. So.
And so, what else is there on the table with management that's a sticking point?
Again, for us, it's just a transparency. Like, we acknowledge that we want to acknowledge that ASPIRA mismanaged their money and they don't have, they can't come up with the money. But we still want proof. We want them to show us where the money is going. For sure, it's just about the proof. We did counter offer. We understand that ASPIRA doesn't have maybe the finances to give us the raises that we deserve. So we did counter with non-financial compensation, because the last thing we want to do is to go on a strike. We love our principals, we love our mentors, we love our advisors, we love our cleaning staff, we love everyone at the building, and we all work really, really hard to make sure that our students get what they deserve and they need. So the last thing we want is a strike. So, as a union, our council decided that we would come up with non-financial compensation that would not affect the students' day-to-day lives. It would not affect the students' school year either.
And when is the strike date set for?
March 17th.
And how do you feel being someplace like here with this, this Women's Day rally? You got all hundreds of people there. You said you're a little nervous up there, but you did a fine job. You did great. But how do you feel about your prospects going forward, and like specifically like having all these people who are out for the Women's Day rally coming and potentially supporting you for the strike?
Well, it feels good because I never wanted to be a public figure. I don't like speaking in public. I don't like doing interviews.
You don't like doing what we're doing right now?
I don't like doing this kind of stuff at all. But it's something that I also tell my kids, like, when you see something that is wrong, you have to say something, for sure. And as a woman, I've been discriminated against just because of my gender. I've been discriminated against because of my, my race, because of my sexual orientation, and it's nice to see that that women are speaking up, and that we're, continue to fight the fight. We're not sitting down and we're not shutting up. We're going to keep, speaking.
Well, watch as we get closer to March 17th, a potential strike at ASPIRA Charter School, high school here in Chicago, Illinois. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.